Hello everyone, welcome to Little Magic. Today the card is a happy birthday card. This is the card that I'm going to show you how I made. I use three main techniques or methods. First is an embossing, stamping and die cut. So let's get started how I made this card. I used A2 size note card. My note card is of pink paper, but you can use any color of your choice. On top of that, I used a white paper mat, which is 1/8 shorter than the card size. For the background, I have patterns here, which I have done with using stencils and embossing paste, but I'll show you an alternative method if you do not have embossing paste or stencil, how to do that. So let's start how I did it. This is the stencil that I used and a paper. I'm showing you on a smaller paper. So I placed the stencil on top of it. I prefer taping the paper and the stencil. This is just because I don't want to move around and spoil the embossing that I do. So this is the embossing paste that I used. Take a little bit, it's white, and I used color. So take any flat spoon, or I used a spatula for it, and like this you just mix it with the color and take it on the spatula and on the stencil, just dab it around. I'm leaving it half because I want to mix it with another color. As you can see, it has a same different two colors mixed together to give that gradient mix. So I'm using the same embossing paste. You can just use fresh white to get the exact color, but I don't mind the mixed. So this is how you can just it takes a little bit of time. So this is the technique that I have used. I'll show you after I raise the stencil how it actually looks, but in the meanwhile I'll show you what are the other methods that you can do it. You can use watercolor, or you can use simple crayon pencils. With watercolor, suppose I use this color, I take any brush. I'm just using a water brush here. So when you do it with a watercolor, it doesn't happen with an embossing paste because it's a paste which doesn't seep through, but with watercolor you have to be careful so that it doesn't seep through the boundaries of the stencil. So just hold the stencil like this and color. Or if you're using a watercolor, you can, tape around on all four sides so that you don't go beyond the margins. So, with a pencil, mark the background and then color. So you can just mix it. You can use another color and create your background. How does it look? So this is the embossing effect. The only difference is this will give you a raised surface, but this will be flat. But it doesn't matter, it just needs a colorful background. If you don't want to get into all this, you can just use colorful pattern paper. That will also work for your background. So after we have the background, as I said, either you can color it yourself or embossing, or just use a colored pattern paper. Just one thing, use a pattern which is simple basics, like either it should be a circle or polka dots or like stripes, because that will give enhance these things which we place on top of it. The next thing is stamping. So I'll just show you how I did the stamping. You just stamp on the ink. Take another color which you want. I used blue here, and this is how you stamp. and then I stamp it on the paper. Third is this birthday die card that I have used the Happy Birthday Die-namics. I have run this through the Big Shot machine using a blue paper, and this has created the birthday sentiment like this. I have just used that. But again, the alternative, if you don't have a die cut, same thing, you can take a paper, write birthday on it, and you can just write it like this. This also looks equally beautiful. So you don't need dynamics, or you don't need all these items to create a beautiful card. This bear, I have used stamps again. I have used this Party Animal Lawn Fawn set, but this is very simple, so you can just draw. For assembling the card, I wanted the happy sentiments or the speech bubbles to be a little raised from the card. So after I had this embossing paste all dried up, I attached it to the no card, and then I have attached these speech bubbles using the foam tapes. You know, it gives you a little raised effect, so that gives some dimensions to your card. And the die cut, I have used just a strong glue on the edges. I wanted to just one thing, and when you attach a die cut, just ensure that you don't put any of the loose ends, glue on the loose ends, otherwise it will stick around and your dimension will be lost. That's how I did the card, and I just put in some more sequins to it. For the inside, again I used another speech bubble and two same stamp sets. I used these small birds, and then colored it with different colors. And I use these stamp set because this is very simple and anybody can draw this. So it might look altogether that is difficult, but it is a very easy card to make. That's all for today. So I hope you enjoy making this card. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.